Hi, it's Nick Glorioso, owner of Glorioso Wildlife Mounts Taxidermy in Port Henry, New York. Today, I thought I'd put my GoPro 3 Hero HD cam on, and we're going to be working on a Chukar partridge. We're going to be just skinning this thing out, and I figured I'd do a video on this. This is a very pretty bird, and one that's commonly mounted, but it's pretty difficult to hit. They're very fast flyers, very pretty bird, and this is a Chukar partridge. So stay tuned. I'm going to go right into skinning this bird out, and we'll get this thing prepped out and into the tan. So okay, so stay tuned. I'm going to put my GoPro Hero cam on, and we'll get right to it. Okay, stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, got the GoPro on, and just going to be skinning this thing out right on the table here. So okay, need this bird, and only need a couple of supplies. Trying to find my scalpel blade here. Just had my scalpel. Here we go. You get the old scalpel there. Forgot to bring the scalpel in. Okay. All right. What we're going to be doing, I'm putting a brand new scalpel blade on here. And I'm going to try to tilt this thing down so y'all can see what's going on here. Beautiful Chukar. It's been in the fridge. Thawed it out nice and slow. Going to put this brand new 22 scalpel blade on and show you how we skin this thing. A lot of people ask me, how do you mount a bird? How do you skin them? What I like to do is kind of exercise the wings and legs, if you will. And what we need to do here, is just, we're going to start with an incision here. What I like to do is start separating the feathers. You're going to cut feathers, that's a given fact, but just try to separate as much as you can. What we need to do is start right here, right at the sternum, and I'm gonna go straight down. Try to keep your incision nice and straight, and we're going to stop about, oh, I don't know, ½ inch from the vent or so. This bird doesn't have very thick skin. It's not like a turkey or anything like that. So I just thought it'd be kind of cool for y'all to see how I'm skinning these birds with the GoPro camera on. This bird is going to be a mount for Norm's Bait and Tackle. He's right down the road here. Excellent sporting goods store. One of my friends, Norm St. Pierre. Okay, here's the vent right here. We're right about there. Okay, so you can see this incision now from the top of the sternum, and I cut into the meat a little bit. That's fine. But now what we need to do is start peeling. And this bird was, I don't I believe it was shot. I guess we'll find out. Just going to use my fingers. I use my fingers a lot to skin even turkeys and all kinds of birds out. So I'm just going to use my fingers first. We use the scalpel to make our incision, and I like to just use my fingers to do most of the skinning. My theory, and most taxidermists will agree with this, is that no scalpel is the best scalpel. So if you can skin your bird with your hands aren't a razor blade. They're not going to put holes in your bird. There you go. Pretty easy. Alright, so I peeled on both sides. Now our next juncture is going to be our leg, and you can see this is freely opening now in here. Okay, this shouldn't be too long of a video. I'm figuring maybe 15-20 minutes in that area. It doesn't take long to skin these birds. If it's longer, fine. You don't need to rush anything. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm starting on the leg and the thigh area. I'm pushing the skin off of the meat. Now our next area we need to go to is right here, and what I did was I cut right in that joint right here. Right in that knee joint. Made a cut in there. We want to separate this leg right at this juncture right here. So that's what we want to do. And just taking my time. There's really no rush. This bird's been in the fridge all day. It's been thawing out actually a whole day. Nice and cold. Very edible still. But we have this leg separated now. Now what I do typically is I go down a bit here and carefully keep pulling on this area here. Carefully pull on this. You're going to lose feathers, don't freak out. Now I see that this leg here is broke, so we'll be a little careful with that, but this is going to be a flying mount. You can see this little drumstick here. You can do this now or later, but what I like to do is take most of this meat off. You don't have to do it now, but we might as well. Okay. We'll take most of this meat off. Turkeys, you can maybe get a couple pounds of meat off of a turkey sometimes, but it's not going to be perfect. You just want to get most of this meat off of here. And if you have a pair of scissors or whatever, that works too, to snip that off. And there's a little bit of meat and fat and tissue right here. Again, no big deal. We'll clip this off and get it cleaned up most of the way. Okay, so this leg is skinned out. And I'm going to carefully work this area. Like I said, it's best to just take your time. Feathers do hide a lot of damage, but the best looking hole is no hole. That's what I've always said. So I try to do most of my deer with a short Y incision, less seam, less sewing, a little bit more prep work, but the less hole you have to deal with, the better. So, okay. Again, there's some feathers we cut and all that. This is just going to be a skinning video, and later on we'll probably show you how to mount this bird. But so what we do is our breast incision first, and then what I like to do, I mean, taxidermists have their own way of doing things. The way I've always been taught and trained, I like a ventral incision, which is right down the belly. Some taxidermists, especially on turkeys, they use a T-cut or other type of incision. I use this incision basically on all my birds, right down the chest. Again, I'm just skinning this bird out. See, this leg's fraying up, and I pretty much know where this joint is. Sometimes you have to hunt around for it a little bit, but I've been doing professional taxidermy 13 years now, so we pretty much get the anatomy down. Recommend pheasants. They're an excellent bird to work on. They're, you know, some of them 2-3 pounds, plenty big enough to work on and grab onto. Their skin's like a chicken, so it's pretty durable and easy to work with. The forms are only maybe $7, $8, $9. A good pair of eyes is maybe $5 or so. Then you could actually use coat hangers. That's usually what I use to wire up a pheasant. So you can get those for free a lot of places. So again, I'm just trimming this excess meat off, and what I'm going to do after this is skinned out, I'm going to put it in a soak tan solution. I like to soak tan my bird skins. I usually don't soak tan something as small, but I like to lock up my skins. So we'll use a soak tan for this Chukar partridge. Okay, so you could see he's kind of being a little disassembled here. Disassemble. Okay, anyways. Here we go. Alright, so the legs are separated. He's cut down the center. And not a whole heck of a lot. They're about the size of maybe a pigeon. Alright, so we have our legs freed. We have our skin peeled down. Next place we're going to encounter, we got to carefully work this skin down here. And again, I like to use my hands as much as possible. I'm going to find a vent, and we're going to clip through the vent, or the you could say a bunghole or anus, whatever way you want to pronounce it. I like to say vent. It sounds much cleaner that way. Okay, so this is a kind of ticklish spot, if you will. Got to be a little bit more careful. The skin's usually thinner back here in this section here, so just taking my time. Again, birds have plenty of feathers. You could hide damage, but you don't have to. Don't take your time. Just take your time, and no need to repair a hole if it's not there. So take your time and just work on it. I'm peeling the skin off its back. I clip through the vent area here. Now I'm just working around the rump area here. And another kind of ticklish spot I'm using a scalpel a little bit to cut into the tissue there, but what we need to do is free this tail section here pretty quick. So we go with the anus section here, and then we'll go with the tail section. Okay. And I put a little hole in there accidentally, but and that's going to happen. Just a little tiny hole in there. Very, very easy to do, obviously. Happens to the best of us, but no need to cry. Alright. Clipping through this rear section here. And just being very careful. Just want to clip through this tailbone, and I'm trying to pull my skin away from the back area here so I can put my scalpel in. Then I know I'm not cutting any more little holes in this guy here. I already put a little hole in his back here, but you can't cry over spilled milk there, but that's fine. Just a little hole back there. It won't hurt nothing. Couple stitches and she'll be good as new. Okay. Now, let's continue down the back, skinning this thing out. You do all birds the same. Some guys, the bigger birds, they like to hang them up. Make a sharpened wire with the string and hang them up from a mounting stand or what have you there. So, okay, skinning down here, the next place we're going to come to that we need to separate is the wing area. So, and I actually happen to have a mannequin I ordered for this too, so okay, what I'm doing here, I'm just gonna clip inside the ball socket. A lot of times what I do is I stick my finger through here so I know I'm not cutting skin, and try to find my ball socket here. You can see there's my ball socket. Alright. And that separated that wing right there, if you can see this. Okay, that separated that wing. And we do the same to the other side. So, and this is just a skinning video. I have other videos on prepping the skin. You can see there's hardly any fat here. That's why I'm going to just take all the meat off camera. I'll get all the meat off, and I'll just put it in the soak pan. What I like to do is just make incisions on my wings. I don't like to invert my wings all the way out. So, okay. Alright, there we go. You can see this wing right here. Okay. Just hanging in there by that ball. And we take our scalpel. And I definitely wouldn't advise eating birds that your customers bring unless they're fresh. There's this customer didn't ask for his bird back, but there's not very much meat on this thing. But like a wild turkey, a lot of times I'll while the customer is waiting for it, so I can give them their meat right back. So okay, I'm just peeling down the neck here. These birds, you can do that with just peeling with your fingers and a little bit of pressure. Okay, and we can just keep pulling on this and just go right to the base of the skull, and then we'll clip it. And because it's kind of gross, but we need to get all the eyes out and the brain matter and all that good stuff. If you're using a real head, that needs to come out. Another alternative would be to get a reproduction head, which I believe they make them for the Chukar. Okay, you can see the body here. Throw these in the garbage. Don't need those feathers. Okay. We lost a few feathers. That's very common. Okay, so again, I have the mannequin, I have the eyes, I have everything for it. Just slowly inverting this thing out. Here's the back of the skull. So what we need to do is just make a cut. I like to have a sharp scalpel. And we need to remove the brain. We need to remove the tongue. We need to remove the eyes. But you'll see, here's the tongue. It's kind of gross, but you can see the tongue. The neck, the body there. We'll put this aside here for a second. Okay, now in here you could use a little pin, or bigger birds you can use all different types of tools. They have brain tools, but we're just cleaning this thing up a little bit. You can take the scalpel and just scrape out what you can. That's why they call them bird brains. There's not very much there. So okay, that's the ear canal opening. One swift cut, and we got that. And again on this side, one swift little cut. And now I'm just gonna continue. This is the eye right here, the eye area. The skin is super thin right here. Just gonna go back to this side here. Okay. Make sure you take your time. It's our ear. Very thin area, very ticklish area, if you will. What you can do, try to peel some of the skin forward. Here's the eye area right here. I don't know if you can see this, but quick cut. And you can see where we can cut right through this area right here. Okay, here's our eye. I like to use that inner eye skin. We'll get this thing in a tan, and we'll tan it, and then later on, there's not much here, but we'll clean it up better. Here's the eye, and of course there's eye tools, there's things you can use. I usually just pop the eye out like that. Okay, that's done there. And I think I snapped my scalpel blade. Yep, I did. That's okay. Pretty much done with this blade anyway, so I'm just gonna keep going here with this incision on the side of the eye. Okay, there we go. Again, very, very thin skin over here, so just gotta be careful. I like to skin right down to the base of the neck, the base of the build, I'm sorry. You already have it skinned, the base of the neck. Okay, now, same thing here. Just going to get this eye out whatever way you can. You can use pliers or cut them out or whatever. That one came out a little bit better. And there we go. Really not much fat or anything on this. This thing's got a little bit of fat, but definitely not worth the effort, time, or risk even to put on the wire wheel. There's really not much at all. I could about flush this thing out with my thumb. There's really not much. If you want to use a wire brush, you can. But what I'll do is I'll get most of this fat off and I'll get it washed real quick. And what you want to do is get the meat off the tail section too. You want to get your meat off of your wings, all that area. Show you real quick on one wing here. I have to put a new blade on it. Just to that first bone. Alright, so again, you want to be very careful. A lot of birds you don't even need a scalpel to initiate your first cuts. These birds here, they seem to stick pretty tight. They're excellent flyers. So, okay, I'm just putting a low pressure on this, and I'm just going to get it to the first joint here, and then I'm going to take that meat off. Then what I like to do is, once I get the wing right side out, and what I'll do is I'll make an incision on the outside of the wing, and I'll make a small incision and just remove all that meat. I don't find it necessary to invert your wing inside out all the way and disrupt all your feathers. I really don't. That's the way I was taught a long time ago, and after a while I just started watching different videos, getting different points, watching all kinds of Tony Finazzo or all different world-class taxidermists on birds. Alright, so that meat's out for the most part, and again there's a little bit of meat right here, and just to show you what I typically do. Even on turkeys I do this. The turkeys, you definitely have to sew this part up. They have a big wing, but you can see right in here, right in this area here, there's meat in there, and you definitely want to get it out. I just don't want to turn the wing inside out to get the meat out. So I just like to make an incision like this, and then I do the same thing on pheasants and all that. I'll just make my cut and then carefully just work the meat out here. Really not difficult. I use several tools. I actually even use like a fish scraper tool. Fish cheek scraper works really well. There's not going to be much meat come out of here, but you can see there's a bunch, and that area is open for the tan to get to, and then we can clean it up later too. So I'm not saying don't, just leave. I'm not saying leave your meat in there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't like to turn the wing inside out to get that meat. I don't find that necessary. Okay, so that's all set. I'll do the other one off camera. And then the only other part we have to do is this root section here. The tail deck section here. What we're going to have to do is just peel this skin back, and we're going to have to remove the meat from this area as well. So very, very ticklish spot, as you can see. But again, I just want to get most of the meat off. So the tan can soak into it. A lot of guys, they'll just wash their bird and then they'll wash it and then they'll just borax it. So you can use that too. This bird will be fine. And again, we have this other part here. This other part of the wing. I'm going to try to pull this down with my fingers this time. Let's see if we can do this. Okay. You don't want to put a crazy amount of pressure, just enough. And again, salt can penetrate, up to 1/4 inch. This bird is very, very thin. So the tan solution will penetrate through this guy just fine. No worries there. Okay, so again, just going to work most of this meat off of here. I'm not going to chance it. I'm going to throw that carcass away. You never know where it's been, really. Or if it's been out of the, been in the woods too long or whatever, get you sick. Most of this meat is off here. Again, just to appease yourself, you can take off more. And then the last thing I'm going to do is make an incision on that part of the wing. And we'll be fine there. But that's about it for now. I want to go and grab that mannequin. Just to show you what this mannequin looks like. This is the Chukar mannequin, and you can see that I should fit this bird pretty well here, because this is obviously supposed to be a live bird, so you can see that that's pretty close there. Pretty close. That should fit just fine. So this is the mannequin by Mackenzie Taxidermy Supply. 1-800-279-7985 is their phone number. Awesome people to deal with. Definitely highly recommend them. There's instructional videos there as well. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you real quick. Just going to use this Mackenzie tan, and this bird will not take a lot of it. I'm just going to put a little bit here. I'm going to put some tan on this bird skin. Now, again, this is not a thick bird. If it was a turkey, I would be going through a pickling process and all that. I'm just going to let this soak in this tan, and this will tighten everything up just fine. I want to get this tan all over the place, so I'm just going to use like 2 capfuls of this tan right here. That should be fine. I'm just going to take this Mackenzie tan and just rub it into the skin. And there's hardly nothing to the skin, or I would be salting it and pickling it and doing all that process. There's really nothing to the skin to do any of that, and pretty much overkill even putting tan on this small skin. I just wanted to show you how to do this, and I could definitely get a Chukar partridge and a replacement if I needed to, but you definitely want to use your customers' birds. So take care of them. And treat them as best as you can. I'll work some tan on this skin. What I do before I mount it, I'll definitely rinse all the excess tan off, and we'll get this feller all set here. Put some tan in this area here, tail area. And again, this isn't totally prepped. We're going to need to to do a little bit of final fleshing. This is going to be a flying mount. But now what I'm going to do is just kind of tuck things in, and it's going to be a beautiful mount. Tuck things in, and then I want to put it back in the fridge. So, all right. I want to personally thank you for watching Glorioso Wildlife Mounts Taxidermy production of skinning a Chukar. I want to wish you the very best of luck, and we'll see you next time. Glorioso Wildlife Mounts Taxidermy. Catch you on the flip side.